Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we're going to be doing yet again another comic review. Today we are going back to Webtoons, and I found another superhero comic that I want to show you guys. One thing I feel like I should clarify at the beginning of this review, though, is the purposes of reviewing Webtoon independent superheroes. I am not reviewing this to shit on the people behind it. I am not reviewing Webtoon comics to shit on amateurs. No, I'm going to be very non-harsh with these lines of work because I know a lot of effort has been put into them, and I know a lot of passion has been put into them. This isn't a creepypasta written by a 15-year-old. This isn't a fan fiction written by a weirdo 30-year-old. This is something that takes a lot of time, effort, and skill to make. Not only do you have to have the skill to write it, you have to have either the money or the skill to draw it, ink it, and then all the other stuff that comes in line with making a comic book. I am really passionate about the making of comic books, so I'm not going to shit on this. This isn't a commercial product made by a corporation to get you to buy a brand. This is something that someone cares about. This is something that someone has put as much effort as I do in Cyclone. So with these reviews, I'm not going to be as mean as I am in other reviews. I'm not going to be as harsh. I'm not going to be cracking as many jokes. I'm looking at what it is, reading what it is, and giving my honest opinions. So hopefully you guys can deal with the more laid-back nature of these reviews, because I feel like it's the most fair thing I can do for Webtoon products or Webtoon projects. So the comic we are reading today is called Spark. And I looked over it earlier, and I find it to be a really interesting concept. So we start with, come on, Kristen, don't be so upset. There are more publishers in Coil City, so we immediately know where we're at. We are in Coil City, and we see two characters here. The redhead is Kristen, and I don't know who he is yet. You'll find one that publishes your comic. So we know that Kristen is a comic book artist trying to get her book published, which is kind of meta because this is an independent comic itself. I really like your superhero stories, so this guy is simping for Kristen. He's probably a love interest, and she is very bummed because she can't get her comic published. I'll never be able to publish my comic. Still, thank you so much for walking me to the interview, Nick. I can understand where she's coming from, because in regards, I'm kind of in the same spot. I haven't submitted my comic for publication yet, but I'm worried about it, and I know that I'm going to get a lot of rejections, and those rejections are going to hurt. So I can understand where she's coming from. And it's kind of cliched for the main character to have a redheaded love interest, but you know what? I was there once, so I'm not going to judge. Everyone has a thing for redheads at some point. Well, I got to go home now. I have to take Sparky for a walk. It's funny that her dog's name is Sparky, seeing how his superhero identity will be named Spark. He probably chooses the superhero identity from her dog, which is funny. Hey, Kristen, I wanted to tell you something. What is it? Well, the truth is, you're so pretty and I like you and would you go out with me? Oh, that's his imagination. Okay, and that's all one sentence. Well, I had a really fun time this afternoon. Oh, he's a shy guy. He's a shy guy. So, because he doesn't exist, I'll give you advice. The worst thing that can happen is someone say no. If you're really friends with someone, they'll continue to be your friend afterwards. Or at least that's how it's been from my experience. When it ends up being like you don't want to mess up a friendship, they'll still be friends with you. So, even if you get rejected, that's the worst thing that can happen. Like, they're not going to hate you. They're not going to make fun of you because you liked them. If they did, then they're dicks and they were never your friend to begin with. So it's just better to get your feelings out of the way and not pent it up. For anybody who might be watching this that doesn't know any better. Ha ha ha. Me too, Nick. Thank you for everything. Good night. And we see him walking home. Sigh. Another day without confessing my feelings to her. At this rate, she's never going to date me. I mean, never said she'd date you, even if you did confess your feelings because you have to know if she likes you. You're just assuming she likes you, but whatever. I'm such a coward. R/incel life. He kicks the can into another can, and he notices in the trash can, huh? What's this? A superhero costume. And I'll talk about how I feel about the superhero costume in a minute. But for right now, we see that it's been disregarded, probably as a homage to when Spider-Man quit being Spider-Man and he threw his costume away. It's like positioned in a similar way. It looks like some kind of costume. Why is it in the dumpster? It looks brand new. I'll take it to a pawn shop. Why would he take it to a pawn shop? Hey there, my fellow pawn guy. I found this in the trash. Do you want to buy it from me? Maybe some people are on that hustle, who knows? I'm back. What are you doing, FJ? FJ. Oh, and we see he lives with a Redditor. Hey, Nick. Have you finally confessed your feelings to Kristen? That's the voice I'm giving him. No, but I almost did today, and we see he's watching fucking One Punch Man. One Punch Man exists in this universe. Dude, you're a dumbass. If you don't do it, she'll never be your girlfriend. By the way, the next issue of Flying Grat Man? What the fuck is Flying Grat Man? Is out. I want to know what Flying Grat Man is. They should have showed us a fucking picture of that. So apparently he's a comic book nerd. He's a comic book nerd, he's a comic book nerd, and she writes comics. So the whole comic centers around people obsessed with comics, and he's a superhero, which is a very interesting concept. I would love to see where that idea would go. People who are obsessed with comics being thrusted into a superhero situation themselves. I'll read it later, FJ. I'm going to my room. Good night, buddy. I'm not your buddy, pal. Oh, I've forgotten the weird costume from the dumpster. And we see a bunch of classic movie posters, but satirized. From the dumpster. It looks like my size. What a coincidence. Let's see if it fits. And he puts on the costume, and this is where I'm going to critique it. So, not only does it kind of look like Spider-Man, it also looks like Kick-Ass. And maybe I've got no room to talk. Maybe my costumes aren't that unique either. But it seems like to me, there should be something to the costume that makes me feel electricity. His name is Spark. He's going to have electric powers. There should be something to it to indicate that he is going to shoot electricity. Electro is a damn good example. His mask looks like a lightning bolt. His costume has lightning bolts on it. I think his name is still Black Lightning. Black Lightning has lightning bolts on him. Static Shock has lightning bolts on him. There are tons of electric-based superheroes that fit that motif. Like anything, like more yellow would have helped this costume a lot. But I do like the look of it. It just makes me feel like he's going to be like Kick-Ass or Spider-Man and not an electricity hero. Because when you look at a hero, you should be able to understand what they're going for. Because with Drake, my character Drake from the Cyclone, I designed him in such a way to where you understand that he is an amateur. He's not really a superhero. That's why instead of having a super costume right now, he has a plain t-shirt with a logo on it and some jeans and a jacket and a crude mask. That's intentional, so you know that he is a person looking the part, but not trying too much. And to me, it just seems like this costume doesn't reflect his character. But then again, it is a mantle being thrust upon him from something he found in the trash, so I shouldn't be too critical. And yet again, I want to state that I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to figure out where the creator's going with this. I look like a superhero. It's probably a cosplay of some character. That's weird to just think right ahead. I'll take a pic and show it to Christian. And we see him take out his phone and try to take a picture. And the camera completely starts fucking up. And then the phone like gets a full battery. What's happening to my phone? The battery is charging on its own. And then the phone explodes. Oh my god. What did just happen? What did just happen? I think it should be, oh my god, what just happened? but whatever. One grammar mistake isn't that bad. The phone just overcharged. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that her dog's name was Sparky, I would have called him Overcharge. I think Overcharge is a far better superhero name than Spark, but that's just me. I would have went with Overcharge because of the gloves, and then we see Spark. And that was Spark episode 1. So I think it was a good introduction. We know our main character's name is Nick. We know what city he lives in. We know his friends. We know his motivation. He wants to impress a girl. He wants to date a girl. We know, now we know that superheroes exist in this world. We know that he's obsessed with comics. We know that he's a nerd. These are all the things that are wonderfully introduced in this issue, and it's a nice setup, and I'm interested to see where it's going to go. The only critiques I had was one grammatical error, which might not even really be a grammatical error. I could just be dumb and not realize that that is proper English. But the other issue I had is that I just don't feel like his costume reflects electricity-based characters. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people would say it does look like an electricity-based character. But for me, it kind of looks like a bug, and it kind of looks like Kick-Ass. But other than that, it was a good comic. It was a good introduction to the character. It's very interesting world building. I like that we didn't immediately get thrusted into him fighting a villain, or thrusted into him having some giant tragic backstory where his parents were murdered by some fucking lunatic or something. I'm glad that it's just a casual story. But even though it is a casual story, it knows it has to keep your interest, so by the end of it, he gets a suit that gives him superpowers. So that intrigue is going to keep you, hopefully, till episode 2. I'm curious what you guys think about this comic, though. If you guys liked this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. I'm going to have a link to the comic down in the description below. If you want to see more of this comic, go over there, send some positive feedback to the creator. If you guys like this series where I review Webtoon comics, be sure to tell me so I know to make more of these. I think that this is the main thing that I want to do, is review indie superhero comics, because I myself am making an indie superhero comic. And I think by reading what other people are doing and seeing what other people are doing, it will help me improve as a writer. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a good day, and bye.